up, that'd be cool. Or yeah,
Sure, no problem.
thank you. So what's new on the islands? What's happening? Anything different that we should know about?
Marianne and I went to Curaçao last week and had very good meetings. Beautiful people, very nice agents. So I think there are going to be a few more in the Zoom today.
Oh,
But,
fantastic.
no, they're very eager.
Well, that's
So.
good. We have to do the work. We have to be eager and do the work. We'll give everybody just a few minutes. BB, thank you so much. She helped me yesterday because I was trying to pay my taxes. I couldn't read it because it was in Dutch. Student manual. Here we go. It's open. And there's one fiduciary. Okay. I was curious to know if anybody was going to Texas this week. They launched a new I believe a new team leader boot camp or something course, Marianne.
No. Next year.
Yeah, me too. It was the first time. It was just this last week. I know I have friends in it right now from the 28th to the 1st, but next year I'd like to get myself to it. I hear the curriculum is good. They've changed it to post-COVID. With Zoom, we didn't have Zoom before this, so it wasn't really, I think Zoom opened up a lot of our opportunities, even right here. It wasn't a common thing for us here. Okay. Let me just look for one thing. Fiduciary. So I have a question about how we operate on the island. Okay. Edwin, are there is there buyer agency, seller agency, dual agency, any kind of transaction brokerage? How do we represent the client on the islands, or is it just you're an agent and you get to write contracts?
It's everything dual.
Okay. So, some of the stuff here for us is legal. Some of the stuff that we talk about, but I believe that as we go through the fiduciary versus functionary agent as to how you operate inside of your business with your clients, it's the difference in our world is are they a customer or are they a client? And it's can you get sued? Can you get sued a little or can you get sued a lot? And it really comes down to that for us. So it wasn't until just recently, maybe 20 years ago, that they started buyer agency. Everybody here would work for the sellers and the buyers had no representation. So now currently we have seller agency and buyer agency. And when we work underneath one brokerage, like here, our broker of record is a woman named Adele DeMoro, and the 1,500 agents that she has in multiple offices, she is the broker of record for all of them. So in our world, if anybody from any of her offices sells any of her properties, they are operating as a dual disclosed agent. Even though it may be my listing and Spencer has the buyer, we're still operating underneath the license of our broker of record. So it's really important for us here to understand the difference of how we interact with the clients. But I do believe that the material brings in the integrity, the Y4C2Ts. So we'll just kind of, we'll get started and kind of customize it a little bit. Okay. So for those of you who are just joining us, there is a student manual. My name is Marybeth Olive, and I've been with KW for 20 years as an agent, as a team leader, as an instructor. I've built a team. I am back on
Pardon
I'm
me?
back in the I'm back in the field again. So I've been this market has been crazy, and yet I believe every market has an opportunity. So when people are asking you how's the market, your response should be It's great. What part about the market are you interested in? What are you curious about? It's an opportunity market. It's an opportunity for plenty of things, right? So every market may not be great for a buyer who, in our world, buyer who's buying at 8% interest. That doesn't feel good compared to somebody that was buying at 3% interest a year ago. And it's still an opportunity because you know what? The prices of the houses are still going to keep going up as we've seen on a trends line. And next session, which I love, we get into studying the market. And I'm going to have to talk to your leadership a little bit because I'd love to know the data that you are able to get so that you are able to advise your clients as to what's going on in the market. Maybe we could do a better job of it. And maybe we're the change that needs to be on the island so that we can share that data. So session 2 is embrace your job as a real estate agent, as a real estate expert, as a professional. And the first session we talked about sparking your career. That has a lot to do with your choice of Keller Williams and the models and systems and the mission, vision, beliefs that our company holds. And of course, in being in alignment with the company, you will have great success if you take the standards that we have inside of the KWRI mission vision. So the first pillar is about becoming that real estate expert and really positioning yourself that way. And we're staying here. We sparked a career. Now we're going to do embrace your job. Then we're going to move on to connecting with your market and defining your value. That is going to be a little bit more of an internal, what is your value proposition? How do you differ from everybody here on the screen? Right? So then we're going to go into the lead generation pillar, the lead follow-up pillar, and how we hold the transaction together, actually working with the buyers and sellers. But if you notice, there's so much of the mindset and the lead gen, and the last pillar is working with the clients because the work is really done up front and the work is in the follow-up. So today's agenda here is to go over the 6 core competencies of business. And that's really any business. Here's another thing I encourage you, that I know a lot of you are entrepreneurs in many different businesses. So these models work in those businesses. It's just, if you sold cars, well, how many people do I need to meet on the lot in order for me to actually sit down and sell this guy a car? Okay, how do I get that many people to come in on the lot? It's the same thing. It's a numbers game. How many lead generating conversations do I need to have so that the pond is big enough so that I can do the business I want from it? So these are business models, and I hope that you can take this and even be a blessing inside of, some of your own sphere of influence. I had a girlfriend, Sheena Burden. She just did a top 10 business mistakes that business owners make. And she hosted it as a seminar in Baltimore area of Maryland. And she had local business owners come. And so, man, wasn't that an amazing lead generation that she's networking with other business owners that most likely need to buy, sell, invest, and all sorts of stuff. So apply the 6 core competencies. Then we're going to recognize your role as a fiduciary versus a functionary. And then we'll just review the success system. I want to spend a little time on that and look at the daily success system. So does anybody have anything they want to share? Anything exciting that's happened since we last got together? Some new listings, some new inventory, something that you experienced that was different than you had been experiencing? Anybody have anything to share?
Our website went live today.
Yay! That I will be looking at later. So that's something that everybody could be sharing. Everybody, no matter what island you're on, you could be excited for a sister island that is launching, and check us out. And when you're in Curacao, let me know and I can get you a tour and blah, 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 blah. Right? So that's exciting. Anybody else? Anybody else have anything to share before we go on?
Mary Beth, I can say something.
Yeah.
Actually, you were talking about that we have to do more for like social media. You told me already in person one time before that you celebrate everybody, for example, with their grandkid, with their wife, with themselves or whatever. So I focused a little bit more on that last week. And you see a difference because I saw somebody, the granddaughter was 5 years old or something, and he called me and I said like, hey, congratulations with your daughter, granddaughter. And it was immediately a better talk and faster
Yeah.
talk to go into the business. So I think the social media contact and the embarrassing of how do you say it, the connection, you see that people react on that.
Recognizing, I think,
Yeah,
might be
yeah,
the
the
word.
recognizing, sorry.
Recognition. Yep. Well, embarrassing. Sometimes we recognize
Yeah,
people and we embarrass
sometimes.
them. It's okay. But yeah, that recognition. So
No, but
awesome. And it doesn't have to be that you have you know, a million clients. It could just be one client that you do it with, and the story gets told so many ways, so many times. Thank you, BB. Okay, so we're gonna dive into the competencies. So here is the job. Here's the job. Lead generate, capture, and convert to appointments. If you cannot do that, we have no we have no business to work with. So we have to do that. Otherwise, there are different places inside of the real estate industry for you. But if you can't lead generate, capture, and convert to appointments, influence people to choose you, you're going to have a challenge building a real estate business, sales business. 2, you're presenting to buyers and sellers to get an agreement. That means that you have to have presentation skills. That means that the way you appear is important. You have to be approachable. And so sometimes the way we appear is not approachable. It might be too much. It may be, I remember I had a gentleman who, the guy who got me into the business, Bill Barglow, he shared with me, he would do corner highway farms, and he would do land leases and get like the gas stations. We have CVS, Eckert, the pharmacies and the gas stations, the Wawas, the XL, and get them and do land leases on each corner. Well, what he realized was if he went to the farm and he was dressed in a suit and he pulls up in his Mercedes trying to talk to the farmer about land leasing his corner, he'd get a nice shotgun or, hey, what you doing? Get off my property. And the minute that he went to meet the client and he had jeans on with a nice polo shirt, you know, a little comfortable, he's going to walk the dirt with the guy. That made him be at ease, and he started to do more deals. So when we talk about presenting to buyers and sellers, understand how you have to show up for them, not just who you are. Yes, be yourself, but understand you want to make that customer feel comfortable with you. And so that you can get them to say yes to an agreement that you believe they're asking for. And that doesn't mean that we're manipulating anybody. That means that they're raising their hands, asking for you to service them in buying or selling or renting or whatever. And you are going to get them what they need, even if sometimes you got to twist their arm to do it. Show buyers and market sellers. So when you get a listing, your job is market that house to attract the end buyer and represent the seller while doing so. That's where we could get a little cloudy, right? A buyer comes walking in and then you start telling that buyer all stuff about this house that the seller does not want you to tell them. And now we're not representing that seller properly. Right? So showing buyers, just remember, you know, who you're working for and the professionalism that they're expecting from you when you're on those appointments. And especially when you're working with friends, family, you know, it's one thing to be like, oh, this agent, she's crazy. Oh my gosh, you got to see these listings that she has, right? Or, oh, she's challenging to deal with. But to you know, to put somebody else down, even in front of a family member or a customer, is never the right thing to do. You must work together with the agents so that you can negotiate. And so maybe there's some things that you need to know about the listing. Maybe the listing agent is going to accompany you showing the property. And so when the clients see you working in conjunction in a professional manner, that makes them feel more confident that they've chosen the right agent to represent them. Because things don't always go smoothly. We still got to get through inspections. We still got to get through getting the mortgage, right? Obtaining the financing. And for some of you, I know some sellers have been sitting with you for quite a while. So relationship is not only 3 months, 6 months, it might be 2 years, 5 years. right? So showing buyers and marketing sellers. And marketing sellers means that you are going to absolutely take that product to market. It doesn't mean that you just post it on Facebook, put it on your Instagram. It means that you have a nice network right here. You make sure there's an email that goes out to everybody. It goes through a WhatsApp chat. You change your status on WhatsApp with your listing and a link to it. You really market it to people that you believe would be right for that product. And so when you don't have, I don't know, I think we might be a little spoiled in our IDX world and with some of the ways that our houses, they wind up on all these different sites, right? But did you put it there? Did you say, hey, this is a great house and sell the benefits? There's a section in here where we're talking about showing homes. And when we talk about selling homes, it's different in that you are selling the benefit to that client. That client wanted a spacious kitchen open so they could see their kids play in the living room. You're selling that benefit, not the fact that, oh, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful granite countertop. No, what will it do for that client, right? So that is what we are doing when we're showing and we're representing our clients. And then the next one is writing and negotiating contracts. Now, that is a skill. You could take the best clients out all day long, show them the best house, they want to make an offer, and you are not positioning their offer properly. You're not guiding them on what they should put as a down payment or what they should do with this contingency or where they should get the financing so that it will, get it on the islands if you can, because they're going to want to deal with you. Or is it cash? Can you show it in a bank? So you are going to, I've been there. I've failed forward writing contracts, realizing how come I didn't get this offer, or what do I need to do to position this client better? Especially, maybe it's a local move and they have to sell something in order to buy something and they need the money from one thing to the next thing. That's called a contingency. And sometimes people need to do that. They're going to sell something first. Well, guess what? The contract is all superseded on, does this one sell in order for this to free up so that we could buy this? And so, when you're writing those kind of contracts, we want to put everything up front and we want to negotiate with the other side so that we're very transparent on what is happening so that we can help that client close. I always say, I can't help you if I don't know what your problem is. You want help, you're oh, what was me? Tell me what the problem is and let's isolate and let's figure out a solution. And so coordinate the sale of the closing. That could be done by you or a transaction coordinator, maybe somebody at your office. Maybe it is the notary that you lean on that kind of coordinates a lot of that. But you as the agent are responsible to send them an email to say, hey, here's what's expected. Here's the process. Here's what's next. And then manage the money. And the one thing I'll say about money is, look, you're dealing with some second, third homeowners that are putting millions of dollars into investment properties and lifelong dreams. I'm not saying that you need to have all the money in the world because money is not everything. But the thing is, you do need to be aware of money and how to manage money, and you should be a good steward of your money. You can't be advising somebody on their $1 million purchase and you don't even know what's in your bank account. You won't look at it because you're nervous. It might be negative. Right? Or maybe there is money there, but it's all over the place and we're not really running a business. And so part of being with KW that's helped me, it's helped me learn how to manage my household budget as well as my business budget. And so be a great steward of money. It goes a long way. And the way you do it is you just start with learning. There's classes and things you can be listening to, podcasts that address different tactics with money. Okay, so those are the 6 core competencies. Going a little deeper into the first one about lead generating, capture, converting to appointments. Look, that is the job. What it looks like is 3 hours a day. Is it calls 3 hours a day? Not necessarily. What it looks like could be you have to prep your calls. You have to prep what you're going to do for the day. If you're going to go knock on doors, What doors are you knocking on? You should be waking up in the morning excited to run out because you know the 20 people that you're contacting, the 20 doors you're knocking, the likes and the emails that you're going to be sending out. Your day should be planned the day before. So entering into lead generation, 1 hour of it is prepping, script practice. You're going to get on that phone, you're going to write some emails, maybe you need some templated emails, and then you're going to start sending them out. You're going to make phone calls. It's going to be the same script. You're going to use it over and over. You're going to send some texts with the WhatsApp, and you're going to put your link in there so that they're checking you out. Right? So what are you purposely doing with your lead generation time? It's not just show up at the office and look around to sit next to, Joe to be like, what are we doing, Joe, today? Because if you do that, here's what you're going to wind up doing, chit-chatting for like an hour. And then you're looking at some properties online. Before you know it, you got to go pick up your daughter and you got nothing done. So you want to be purposeful, be a business owner, get to your desk at a certain time, schedule yourself to lead generate a specific lead generation. What do I mean by that? Well, here's something. When we look at schedule, what does your schedule look like? What does Mondays look like for you? Tuesdays look like for you? Now, I know that we're in different seasons, right? Different seasons may pull us off. This last couple weeks with Thanksgiving here in America, it was all out of whack. I didn't know what day it was, right? But generally speaking, week as an agent looks the same every week. Monday, and you're happy to write it down. I'll actually send it over. But Monday, everybody coming off the weekend either is waiting for a contract to come in, is negotiating a contract. But guess what? The people who were trying to sell their house on their own and they didn't get a contract, Monday night was my for sale by owner night. I was calling all the for sale by owners on Monday night and Tuesday night if I didn't get them on Monday night. Why at night? Because they're definitely working. They're trying to save the commission, trying to do it themselves. And by Monday and Tuesday, they are tired. Don't call them on a Friday because Friday they got some beer muscles that somebody's going to come and buy their house, right? Some open house around the corner is going to bring them some people. But I had a structure of when was I going to call for sale by owners? It was a strategic thought, Mondays and Tuesday nights. Mondays was a negotiating day. I also called all my sellers on Monday. Why would I call my sellers on Monday? To tell them what happened for the weekend. Hey, you had 5 showings, you had 12 showings, you had 8 offers, no offers, 4 houses sold. What's happening with yours? What do you want to do? Right? It was a conversation because I would always say to the seller, good, bad, or indifferent, you're going to hear from me on Monday. We're going to go over what happened and you're going to make a decision. Are we staying? Are we going down? Are we going up? What are we doing? Okay. And then Tuesday was always a down day. It was like hey, get the for sale by owners in, but also it was your catch up day. Wednesdays, guys, Wednesday on lead generation, sphere of influence, people that know you. Why? Because Monday they went to work. They can't answer the phone. Tuesday, they're still in work mode. By Wednesday, it's the middle of the week. They're going to text you back. They're going to take the phone call. They're going to go outside and take a break. You're going to be able to get your sphere of influence on a Wednesday. They're ready for the weekend. You're going to talk about what's going on. Thursdays, I go preview some houses and then call some buyers. Because Thursdays, I was teeing up my weekend. Hey, can I get you on Saturday at 10 or 2? Which one you want? 10 or 2? 10, 12, or 2? Why I skipped over that was because I do an open house from 12 to 2. So I knew I wasn't going to be available for that. Fridays, I walk the neighborhood. You're going to go do an open house on Sunday? You're going to do an open house on Saturday? Go tell everybody about it. Go tell the businesses around the area. Go tell the neighbors that they might see a few extra cars. Go give them your card professionally. Just want to let you know there's going to be strangers in your neighborhood. And then Saturday, it was walk it again. And Sunday, it was open houses and showing properties. Every single day had a purpose. Schedule your week as such. If you're going to commit to your lead generation, it can't just be an idea. It can't be something that you show up at the office and you're waiting for somebody to give you a list of numbers also. You have to figure this out. And most of it's going to come right out of your database. So if you haven't created the database, and we're going to get to that in a session, that's where you got to go back. You got to go back and start with the database. So then presenting to buyers and sellers and getting agreements, that is listing presentations, buyer consultations. Do any of you have your buyer consultation or listing presentation built out of commands? Anybody have a listing consultation or buyer consultation period? Anyone? No? Yes, no?
I'm actually working on one right now. It's just app saying yet to see because I know Aruba has one. I was just trying to see if there's an easier way for me to, you know, edit a few things in theirs and then make it ours. But
That's awesome.
yeah, I didn't get an answer yet. This Friday I have an important meeting with the big listings up to 1.4. And I need something, you know, so I'm making my own now. But
Okay,
if
okay.
Xenia answers me with one, like a template, then I would
You
gladly.
know what? I think we could just get that to happen. Xenia, you're on here today. Could we help out JP and get him a template that's you know, editable?
Yeah,
Of
perfect.
And-
course, I just saw the message. I'm gonna reply in a minute.
Cool. Take your time.
Okay, perfect. And you know, maybe if you could send it to me, I could go ahead and put it into this drive that I've created and then share out the drive with all the tools. BB, you had your hand up. What's your presentation look like? There you are.
Hi, yes, I'm back again. The internet was gone, and now it's back. I made a template from Xenia in the beginning, and now I've seen some new ones in Command. Actually, Lars is using one as well, and he has a really nice one. And you can create an own buyer command template. So that works very well, actually, to make it more personal.
Love it. Love it. So I'm just going to go ahead and share this for a second. When you are inside of commands, now I know some things may need to get changed, but there are great templates in here. If you haven't gone into commands, and I'll be honest, right? I didn't go in for like a year and a half, maybe 2 years. I was like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I don't need it. It was broken in the beginning. Now it is amazing. Okay. So when you go into commands, I didn't have anything in here, as some of you might have nothing in here. So I kept saying, there's nothing in there. You tell me to go to designs, which is this little paintbrush, and I'd be like, there's nothing in there. But what there was a big plus sign, and it was because I hadn't started any designs that I wasn't seeing them. So you just go here and you create the design. And when you go there, it's going to ask you, do you want to print? Do you want social media? I would just choose print because these are typically built for printing out the listing presentation, printing out the buyer consultation. And the other thing about here is like holiday. On the left-hand side, you'll see all of these on the toolbar. Holiday. All right, so we can go down into December right now, and you'll see that they've already built a whole bunch of templates for you to use. And so going into the business basics, you got email signatures and stuff like that. And so buyer presentation, listing presentation. For listing, it's one bit of content in different formats. Okay, so like which font do you like, which style do you like, and you just click on that and use it, and it's basically like a Canva piece. So you already have some templates built into here. It is very easy to use, and I'm sure your leadership team teaches great classes on it, but you want to set up your assets so that you have your color palette, so that it's really easy for you to create pieces and have them all have the same look. Okay. I'm going to grab this as I just realized that I am not plugged in. So one of the things I advise before the end of the year, if you don't have these presentations, is maybe you guys come into the office together, you do a little workshop setup, and you kind of share like, hey, I'm going to add this, I'm going to add that. What's yours look like? You know, you're probably not going to be presenting to the same people. So, okay. All right. So going into, there we are. Oh, goodness. presentation, and then showing buyers and marketing to sellers. We talked a bit about that. Writing and negotiating contracts. Now, with writing and negotiating contracts, do you have standard contracts that you use in each office? Across the brands, like if you were to sell a Sotheby's listing, do they use the same contract or is it different? Different?
It is different. Yeah, in Aruba, we have, of course, the association, which almost everybody uses the same template. Of
Great.
course, we can add something, but on Bonaire and Curacao, it's a little different.
Okay.
On Curacao, we usually tend to get the same content, but usually people dress it up in different clothing, you could say, put their own branding and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, regardless of what it is, you got to read it, right? So if something is there, you definitely want to get comfortable with that contract. You want to read through it. You want to understand what it's asking the customer to sign. You know, I'm sure there's probably room for additions and remarks, and sometimes we have to put addendums because if we have a sale contingency or so, we might need to type up an addendum that says this seller, like the seller is not going to actually close on her property unless she finds something. So that's what we call as a home sale contingency for the seller to have, which is different than when the buyer has one. So you just want to make sure that you're talking to the right leadership in your market center to get the advice on writing a contract. If you have not written a contract, I would tell you, don't try it alone. I've seen people write first contracts and they're like non-enforceable, or, you know, maybe there's some signatures that are missing. And so just please get the right guidance when it comes to writing contracts.
Yeah, we have
As well as,
sorry, yeah, we have all our standard contracts in the drive. So everybody can
Great.
download it and fit it in themselves. But yeah, absolutely, if you're not very familiar with it, just give it a call or let us read it, or somebody from the ALC to help you out with that. It's a good one.
perfect. Just perfect. Okay. And then coordinating the sale of the closing. Once your buyers, you know, committed to the contract and you have an executed contract where there's a signature, then you have a timeline of everything that needs to get done. Professionally, a great email where you set it out. So here's all the dates that we have to meet. Here's what's expected next. I will say that, you know, especially coming from buying overseas and not being there always, as I'm sure a lot of your clients may be, it's nice to know what's next, what's expected next. So working closely with the agent is important. And then understanding when the bank comes in and when the appraiser goes out and when the inspection is done and all of that. And it's very similar to the way that we do business here. And so it shouldn't be foreign when you're explaining it to a customer, but coming from you, setting that expectation is very professional. Rather than we got out of review or we got a contract, great, and now I'm supposed to do what? Okay, so you want to set the tone for what's next, what's expected, and what the timeline is. And then managing the money. Understanding, being able to ask those questions too. I had an agent who says, oh, I never ask, you know, what they owe on the house. Or if you're going to go take a listing and they're going to sell their listing and they can't sell the house for what they bought it for and they're going to owe money to the bank, I think you should need to know that. Now, that's not happening so much here, except we did see 2 come to market in the last 2 months where they owe more than what they can get, right? So they owe the bank 500,000 and the house is worth 420. Well, that's in our world called a short sale. We're not going to be able to sell that house unless somebody brings money to the table. And so we would want to know that. We pull our tax records. We understand, you know, we ask them, is this you? Did we have a second lien? Is there a mortgage on the property? And we really want to have true understanding about the money inside the transaction. Okay. And your mindset matters. In all of this, your mindset matters. This is where I would challenge you. Some of you may say, I have a limiting belief. How could I conduct a whole, you know, conversation like this? Why would I dig deep into somebody's financials? And then at the end of the day, you're the real estate professional. They're looking to you to guide them through this purchase or this sale. So your mindset matters. It says to achieve your highest potential, these 6 core competencies must be done consistently and done well. And consistently is the name of the game. Putting systems in place will ensure that you do these things consistently. So having a contract template, having a flow chart, maybe even, and I'll share with you one of my flow charts when we get to that part, having a flow chart to know, okay, inspection, what date is it due? Did it get done? Check. When is the appraisal done? Did it get done? Check. Right? So that Andrea is going to leave Bonaire and go to Curacao for the weekend, and she's going to leave her business with, I don't know, somebody else that's in Bonaire, right? Well, how do I take over her transactions? Because she might be gone for a couple of weeks, but if I have a flow chart, we're going to give the people the same kind of experience. So that is how we systemize our business. All right. So we're going to roll into, because 9:34, we're going to roll to recognize your role as a fiduciary for clients. And these are where I'm going to show you the fiduciary versus functionary. This is in your Ignite student book. Okay, so this is the difference. Functionary is function, robot. Anybody could do it. Function. Yes, you are going to be functionary. However, fiduciary is where we have the highest interest of the client. So it's low level versus high level. It's low relationship versus high relationship. Assumes little responsibility versus high. Skill, needs, responds to needs versus anticipates the needs. Anticipating the needs might be that you're going to have to put your deposit money in 2 weeks, liquid cash into this escrow account. Just wanted to let you know now in case you need the time so that you can make your way to do the wire and it will be in the bank in time. Compared to, well, Ricardo, your money needed to be there today. How come you didn't get it there? Like, oh, well, that's a breach of contract. It's okay. No worries. And then she's like, well, if I had known, I mean, it doesn't take me 1 day to get the money there. It takes me a few. Right. So that is how we would anticipate the needs. Data, processing data versus interpreting, showing how does this benefit the client or hurt the client, big picture viewpoint instead of just that one tunnel way. As an agent, we do have to advise and consult. We need to not just deliver the information of the questions that they ask. We have to advise and consult. We have to bring ideas to them. Self-directed versus other-directed. You're not just a gopher. You're going to figure out what needs to get done. Maximum legal responsibility. Now, that's where you may not have that. In our world, we do. We are in a relationship with them in agency, and we have a lot of lawsuits going on. And thank God for our commission, because we fight it, and rightfully so. Being an employee versus a partner. Does the talk, owns the results. Tells and sells, or educates and guides. Involves in decision making. And that is where you're going to get into that, and they have to make the decision on their own. However, you giving your opinions and experiences could shape what they need to do or the decision that they make. So be careful with what you say, because just like we are with our children, like be careful what you say around your kids, it's the same thing with the clients. They're going to adapt to you as a professional as to what may be the right thing to do. Uses judgment and intuition. You're irreplaceable and you're highly paid. Okay. Where we find challenges with you having your opinion inside of the transaction, right? You're going to show some clients houses and maybe they're not your type of houses, or you wouldn't live in this section, or I wouldn't buy over here, or I would need a garage. Well, it's okay. It's not your money. It's not your decision. You don't have to live in it. And I had to learn that lesson, the hard way, as you have opinions on stuff. And then before you know it, you start seeing the rest of the inventory and you're like, oh my gosh, that first one didn't look so bad now. But now I've talked him completely out of the first one because of all of my opinions. So keep your opinions to yourself. Ask them what they think. Let them guide you on how you're going to feel about this house. And at the end of the day, are you going to buy it or not? Are you interested in it or not? My first broker would teach us that. We would bring the sheets, right? The MLS sheets, the printouts. You're going to meet the client. Bring a folder with the sheets. Here's your folder. Here's everything we're going to see today. Right, so now I have my folder, you have your folder. We would look at a house, I would say, okay, you gonna buy this house? Nah, we're not gonna buy this house. Okay, crumple it up, throw it in the garbage. We don't need to talk about that house then. We're not gonna keep comparing it back to that house that you're not even gonna buy. So let's move it along, right? So we're gonna help our customers make those decisions, and it may not always be easy or clear. But by asking them questions, we can help guide them to the right decision for themselves. So be the fiduciary and not the functionary. Okay. And our success system. So the daily success system and then your success system. So reviewing the success system, nothing else about your business will have as big an impact on it as the number of leads that you have. And the number of leads that you have is in direct proportion to the number of people you speak to. It's in direct proportion to the size of your database. It's in direct proportion to the size of your audience on social media. But leads is the problem. If you have a problem in your business, it's a lead problem. You go get more leads, watch how everything fixes itself. Accountable people achieve results others can only dream of. Accountability is the other part. How many of you, by show of hand, heart, have an accountability partner, whether they're here or somewhere else? You have a coach, you have an accountability partner, you meet with them in the office, you talk to them once a week. See, not too many hands. Thank you, Edwin. I promise you, you'll get more done. You'll achieve your goals if you tell somebody and you ask them to hold you accountable. If you just told your spouse or the person you live with, hey, my goal this week is to have 2 seller appointments, 1 seller appointment, contact 20 people, go to the office every day like it's my job, whatever it is. So on Friday, I need you to check in with me. And I need you to ask me. Now, when your kid asks you and you say, I didn't do my homework, I didn't do my work, how does that make you feel? When your husband or your wife asks you, hey, did you get everything done this week? And you're like, no. How many weeks do you think that's going to happen before somebody has a hard conversation with you? Like, girl, what are you doing? So just think about the people that you're letting down when you decide to not be accountable to yourself. And we are creatures of habit. Go get an accountability partner because we cannot really hold ourselves accountable. There are very few people that are that disciplined that hold themselves accountable to the highest level. There's always room for more accountability. And so here's how you choose an accountability partner, right? Provide a safe place to share. It could be Zoom. It could be 7:30 in the morning. You jump on a Zoom once a week on a Monday with somebody here or somebody that you trust. It doesn't even have to be in this field, right? It could be somebody, your best friend, who she's trying to hustle and make it happen and you're trying. And so let's just hold each other accountable to our goals because, guys, here's what it sounds like. Iris, did you get everything done that you wanted to do this week? Go ahead, unmute yourself. Go ahead, answer me. You're still muted. Ask to unmute. Okay,
Yes.
there you go.
Yeah,
So Iris,
working
did you
on
get,
it.
you're working on it.
Well, actually, I do have an accountability partner, which is like my partner, which I tell everything to, and he also asks me end of the week, hey, do you have this appointment done or that, or where are you heading now? Sometimes I'm like,
Fantastic.
I do have to do that. I do
Okay.
still have to do that. It's on my to-do list. Sorry, my
And so
bird
one
is
of the questions I would give you and your accountability partner is, Iris, what got in the way this week from you hitting your goals?
Yeah, I'm actually also constructing my house now, and it's we got some things to do on that. So things that all
Sure.
private life and your professional life all mixing together, and that's
Sure.
sometimes a struggle. Yeah, that's
It is a struggle. So
yeah.
now, if I go even deeper, and I don't know Iris that well, because there has to be trust at the base of this, in order for Iris to receive it in kindness, right? Because if I said to Iris, well, Iris, what if you build your house, but then your business goes to nothing?
Yeah.
What's going to happen then? Who's going to pay for the house? right? And if we started to dig on the pain of Iris not committing to those goals and holding herself accountable to making sure that the week happens, I'm not her friend and I'm not her accountability partner by letting her slip. Now, if Iris says to me, you know what, Mary Beth, we're going to restructure this. The goals for the next month are not the same because you know what, you made it right now in my time of life. I have to get this done, and then I'll compare, and then I'm okay. You're going to change your goals then. So then let's set the new goals and let's hold you accountable to those. It's okay to change them, but to have excuses, and I'm not saying she had excuses because that's real, right? But to have excuses every week where, well, I just didn't get it done, or well, I had this happen and then my sister came in for the week. We had to go over here for the, well, these are reasons or results. You can't have both. And that's where accountability comes in. So thank you, Iris, for playing with me. And so listen and pay attention to while each other shares. Don't just wait to talk. Follow through with action items. So I say, well, Iris, I'm going to send you my schedule so that you could see it, and I want you to be texted. Follow through with it. If I say to Iris, I need you to text me on Tuesday morning and make sure that I did da 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 da. If not, I'm writing you a check for $2,000. Right? Then hold me accountable. Set a frequency of checking in. It can't just be a whenever. Dig deep to find out why you do the things that you do, not just surface answers. Respect each other and the process. No judgment. Not like, oh, well, I got my stuff done. No, no, no. Life happens to everybody, and it's just new slate every single week. Let's go. And then create commitment and stick to it. Be open to receiving the feedback. It's tough to get the feedback sometimes, especially if you're coming to the appointment with excuses. And it's hard to give that feedback. And I promise you that relationship will be stronger, and you will be stronger agents for giving that feedback to each other, and then have each other's best interest in mind. Right? Something's not working for somebody and you see them beating their head and like, you know what, JP, you're calling, and you're not making the appointments. You should be out on the fields. Look what happened the other week when you went out there. You were door knocking and everybody opened. Right? So be honest with each other so that they can improve and be better in business. It's not a popularity thing. Okay. And so here is, I don't think we focused on this last time, but the success system daily. So every day that you are lead generating, some of us say, well, we do 3 days a week, 5 days a week, 2 days a week, whatever it may be. This would be the checking off the boxes. Did you have 10 conversations? That's two-way conversations. Now, can it be this way? Yes, it could be this way, but it's not as impactful as if it's this way on the phone or in person. If it's typing, texting, WhatsApping, yes, it's a conversation, but it's the bridge to the conversation. It's really not an actual conversation with tonality and, right? So 10 conversations, 10 contacts added to your database. Now, some of you would say, like, how am I going to find 10 every single day? Go stop in a few stores, pick up some, they don't have to be people that you've actually spoken with. You could just be adding businesses into your not mets inside of your database. And then you could make a plan one day that, oh, on Friday, I'm going to go knock on all of those not met store doors. But you're gathering them, you're putting them into the database so that you could communicate with them in a systematic way. So 10 conversations, 10 contacts added, 10 handwritten notes. Now, I know somebody that is their business, but many people don't stick to this. It is so well received. If you got something in the mail and it was like, oh, yay, big, and it has somebody's writing, you're opening that one. You're not opening all the white envelopes. Those are the bills and the, I don't know, the offers of the credit cards that you could open. But when it's small and it's like that, it's a card, that makes somebody feel good. And when you make people feel good, they'll always remember how you made them feel. They won't always remember what you said, but they will always remember how you made them feel. And when you write handwritten notes, just, hey, thank you for that call today. Hey, thank you for that role play today. Hey, thanks for being my accountability partner. Hey, so appreciate you for that closing last week. Maybe it was the paralegal or whatever you might call them at the notary, the ladies that work with the notary. Maybe it's just having a note when you go to closing that you're leaving for everybody that touched that file. And then the 10-5-1 social media engagement. I love that they added this. This here is 10 likes or loves, right? So 10 little remarks, 5 comments, and 1 DM. So 10 likes where you're like, and not the same person, right? You're liking 10 different unique people on whatever social platforms. 5 comments. Hey, good, congratulations. Oh, I see your babies. This is the stuff that that BB and I were talking about. And then 1 direct message. Hey, Sam, I see that you, congratulations on that. Hey, why don't we get together for some coffee? If you would just stick to this plan every single day that you lead generate, you would have tremendous success. Now up that 10 conversations to 20, and you're having even more success. And eventually it leads to appointments, to agreements, to closing. If you can't measure it, you can't improve it. And the new saying this year is, in order to get better, you got to get different. You got to get different. So as we round this out, this is your Ford method for your lead generation. So what are you going to say to these people? All these 10 conversations, 10 handwritten notes. It's going to be about Ford. Family, occupation, recreation, dreams. It's going to be about Ford. Some people stay away from the family conversation. All they want to do is talk about, they like hiking, they like shooting, they like, whatever. Yeah, we shoot up here. There's not much to shoot on the islands. I see that. So occupation, what do you do for a living? Oh, you're a teacher, you're off for the summer, you're off for the winter. What are you going to do for break? Any great things, dreams? Oh, I know you always wanted to go to New York City for New Year's Eve. Oh, are you going to do that this year? Those are the kind of conversations you could always get yourself into a conversation if you just go to family, occupation, recreation, or dreams. At the end of the day, people want to talk about themselves. They really don't want to talk about your business. If you lead it and then end it with their occupation and you ask them how their business is doing, what do you think they're going to ask you? How's your business doing? So that is a lead-in that you can use off the Ford. So often what I would say is you have that Ford up on your screen, you got your database open, and you just go at it. And for some of you, you may go back to this Ford and you may come up with questions that you would naturally ask. Okay. In lead generating time, my thing is I got to have something that I can go look at if somebody pulls me off. Somebody wants to start talking about their kid or where they're going on vacation a little too long, and I'm really calling to connect and then ask for an appointment or ask for the business. I can always bring it back and say, hey, how's the job? How's the husband? Are the kids still at school? So these are questions, go-to questions. Back in the day, I'd have them written out. It'd be something that'd be in my bunker as I lead generate. I'd also have questions for sellers. If I was prospecting for sellers, for sale by owners, I'd have questions that I'd go to. What's important about that? Well, where would you move if you had to? Well, why aren't you choosing to work with an agent? What happened last time? Like, there were just questions that if anybody pulled me off, I just go to the question and then I'm right back in control, because he who asks the questions controls the conversation. Okay. So your database, your success system, and understanding that as an agent, we're here to guide them. I engage in every conversation in the spirit of contribution, and people are happy to be in relationship with me. That is what you want them to take away from it. It's not that you're trying to sell them something. You are a valuable asset. And so I'm going to stop the material there because it goes into the role play. And then typically inside of the classroom, what we would be doing is doing some role play on this Ford method. And then we'd open up that database and we'd go hard for about an hour and a half, calling, writing, doing our 10-5-1. So I would encourage you all that, this time it's 11 o'clock at your time, right? Maybe you schedule that purposely right after this class, that you just roll right into, connect with somebody on here, choose an accountability partner, role play a little bit about who you're going to be calling for this Wednesday, and then just go at it for a couple hours. You'd be surprised what lead generation does for you. Some people, you go to the gym, right? And that's where I got to get to the gym every single day so that I feel good and I have my energy to go through the whole day. Well, lead generation is like going to the gym inside of the real estate business. When you guys walk around the offices and you're all doom and gloom, or, so and so sad, or, oh, she's got an attitude, or they're fighting over there, I'll tell you what the problem is: you're not making money. And the problem why you're not making money is because you're not lead generating. And I love you enough to be honest with you, because that is the problem. So I'm speaking to myself in that if you want more, then you got to figure out, where could I find time? And here's a question I ask myself often: what are you doing that if you were to stop doing, nobody would notice? It wouldn't matter. It could be a newsletter that you send. It could be you stop by certain stores that you're never going to get any business from. It could be something that you do and you're spending hours on that is not yielding you any result. It's actually bringing you backwards. It could be something personal. Some of us, or not us, others, right, have a social media problem. You could scroll on that thing for hours. You look up at the time, you're like, oh my God, I was on there for an hour and a half. Like, where did that go? An hour and a half used calling, connecting, stopping by, popping by, meeting new businesses, going to I know that you got some kind of meetings, government type of meetings somewhere, some chambers, some connecting, some networking groups. Go spend an hour there instead of scrolling. Oh my gosh, you can make $100,000. So if you take a look at your schedule, because if your excuse is going to be, I got no time for that, Mary Beth, I'm going to say, show me your schedule. I'll show you where you can find time. And it just like, show me your bank account, I'll show you what's important to you. Show me your schedule, I'll show you what's important to you. All right, so it's all about you being responsible, accountable, owning it. It's that victim behavior, none of that. It's your business. So the agents that embrace that, great. The agents that are looking to the Edwins and the Mariannes and the Ricardas for, oh, but my leader's going to do that. No, you're the leader. You're your own CEO. They are here to give you a place to build a business. And they want you to build the biggest business you possibly can. And so do I. So I thank you for your time. Anybody got ahas? Maybe we could end with 2 or 3 ahas. And then next week we'll be back on the Thursday, and we will roll into the other pillar inside the other session inside of the first pillar. So 2 or 3 ahas.
I think it's a very, very good one to plan your day one day ahead. I think lots of people are losing lots of time, I'm including myself, with like, okay, where am I going to start? I have a million things to do. So I think that's a really, really good one. I think that that puts a lot of efficiency in the day.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it absolutely does. I have a gentleman that OP that used to write out handwrite in his red book, and if he lost his red book, he was freaking out. All of the people he needed to connect with the next day were just written in hand, and he would cross them out, make them feel really great. That was his database system. Then he would give his book to his assistant.
Yeah. Great.
William?
Yeah, I'd say in our New York office that I'm a part of also, they have a WhatsApp group that it's the 5 a.m. group, and everyone basically gets up at 5 a.m. and says, they're on their way to the gym or they're prospecting, they're doing something, and it's probably 20 or 30 people who all report back and like each other's posts and starts the day off right and try new things. That's one
Love
good
that.
And,
it holds you accountable. You're inside of a larger group, but not everybody's inside of that WhatsApp chat. So you see them getting up at 5 a.m. posting that they're at the gym. If you had it down like 3 days, right, you're going, man, I got to get back on track. That motivation for you.
Yeah, and if anyone knows anyone looking to buy a nail salon in New York and Queens, Glenda, my wife, and I just got a new listing. So in case anyone wants to leave the islands and come back to Long Island or near Long Island.
You want to leave Long Island and go back? Which market center are you in? Are you in Ozone? Where are you at?
Ozone Park.
Ozone Park, right?
Before, but correct.
Yeah, awesome, fantastic. All right, one more aha.
I think it was one big aha the whole training. Maybe you can tell a little bit about the MAPS coaching if for somebody wants a MAPS coach
Yeah, sure.
to have an accountability.
Absolutely. Sam, did you want to add something, and then I'll finish off on the MAPS coaching?
I thought I escaped it.
No, you didn't. I saw your hands.
Probably the biggest aha is probably that accountability, because I do make a lot of plans, but I really don't follow through with a lot of them. And lately, I started working on my database, because I don't have my 8x8s and my touches worked out all the way. So I'm kind of working with Lars. Lars is kind of my inspiration to do it.
Awesome.
Because he really works his database really well.
Yes, he does.
I really noticed that I have a lot of leads. And what's the point,
Yep.
So I think that together with Andrea and Francisco, we're gonna do our accountability moment every week. And we'll let you know next week how it went.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. That sounds like you guys got a lot great going on. You know, with all of this, you do have to just commit. You have to commit to what we're going to be talking about. By the time you're done with this class, and we can even go through, maybe I'll do even a mini business planning just for my own good for you guys. We'll do it on an off day to make sure that you have your economic model and your lead gen model down. If you have that rolling into the new year, and you could just create that commitment of lead gen, you're going to do just fine. Then we could pick your heads up around June and say, okay, what needs to change? We did the lead gen and it started bringing us all this business. Now we need to start putting in different systems. But you know, let's also not, you know, when you have that accountability and you're looking at people on the box to the left or the right of you, let's also not like be kind to ourselves. You're not running the same race. Somebody else might have been doing it for a longer time or has different skill set that they're bringing into this business. So just run your race. Don't get sidetracked looking at the left and the right. And so to one of the things that I have benefited from is since 2008, I have been a MAPS coached agent, leader, coach, instructor. And so what does that mean? MAPS is Mega Agent Productivity Systems. So that is our coaching arm. And you will find that right here at mapscoaching.com. One of the things that MAPS does wonderfully is they do put on a lot of free coaching. Okay. And they have small sessions. So these small sessions might be $300, business growth. What do you want to achieve? And it might point you to some of the sessions that we have: Mega Listing Agent, Dominate Off-Market Listings. So these are just fast track classes, which might be $199, $299, $399. This is working with MAPS coaches, and MAPS coaches, let's just resources, show you a bit about this stuff here, out front, recommended. So MAPS coaches are special in that if they're an agent coach, they had to have done 100 transactions a year for 3 to 5 years, depending on the size of their business and where they're from. So they are not letting just anybody coach an agent that hasn't hit that kind of level. At 100 transactions a year, honestly, it's only 8 to 10 a month. It's not even that crazy. You do have to have systems and models and assistants, and you have to be following the organizational model. So that's the one thing. On the leadership, they have to be a Team Leader Hall of Fame. They have to have had market centers that have been in the top 20%. They have had to be in leadership X amount of years. So it's not just like, oh, I want to be a coach, let me just sign up, I'll be a MAPS coach. You're getting top quality people that are going to guide you and hold you accountable. Now, it doesn't mean that everybody's personality is fit for everybody's personality. So what's great about MAPS is that you can get an exploratory call. You get an exploratory call and they're going to find out who you are. And then they're going to give you, you know, some options. They're going to set you up with a coach thinking it might be the right coach. And if it's not the right coach for you, you can very easily, you have a contact at coaching and you could just switch out and get the right coach for you. And I had to do that only but once. And I just and I did it, and it was fine. It was wonderful. And the coach that I landed with, he stuck with me for 9 years. And then I had another one for 4 years. So these coaches are also very committed to the success. The longevity inside of our company is also important to the MAPS team. So I'll go ahead and put this link for the MAPS inside of our follow-up email from this week. And if any of you have any questions about and you would like to get set up with a MAPS coach, I'm happy to connect you with our MAPS. I am actually talking with Tammy, who's our BOLD coordinator. She leads our BOLD class, Business Objective Life by Design. She leads that, and she's on the road today, so her and I are going to connect. I asked her, is there a way I could bring it to the islands and kind of condense it, because it's usually a 7-week stretched out class. I'd love to see if I couldn't put it into 5 to 7 days of sessions for you and come and present it for you. So, Edwin, you have a MAPS coach, correct?
I did.
Yep.
Yeah.
So in order for him to get in, get all Kellerized and get us up and running, that MAPS coach, I'm sure, was extremely instrumental in making this all possible. So
It is.
I advise you, the other thing, just to understand the expense on the MAPS coaching, you can get 2 phone calls a month with a qualified MAPS coach. That is around $450 a month, 450 American. And then if you have a coach that you're meeting with every week, and there's also some other benefits like mega camp and family reunion included, that is $1,000 a month. And here's what I want you to think about. It's not a cost of $1,000. It's an investment in yourself. Because for $12,000 for the year, you have somebody that is your accountability partner at a way different level. That, what are we talking about? 1 transaction, 2 transactions? That coach is going to help you do 10 and 20 transactions more. So, also we do have mindset coaching and business coaching and transformational coaching. If you are transforming from like one career to the next, or moving, let's say, from New York to one of the islands, maybe you need the transformation because, everything's changing for you. So anyway, I'm here as your resource. Thank you so much. And I will send out an email with all of the links so that you have some resources along with the student drive. All right. And we'll be back here next Thursday, 10 o'clock your time.
Thank you, Mary Beth.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, Mary Beth.